Not bad for a civilian. It's not bad. Only 5 minutes late. Okay, 6 minutes late, whatever the case may be. But it's not that bad. Okay, I'm just saying, not that. It's 5 minutes here and there. Not too awfully, but 5 minutes late. But thank the good Lord, I'm still here. Well, good morning, everybody. Hope this day finds everybody doing well. Like me, I'm doing well. No complaints at all. Oh yeah, what a nice piece of music to wake up to. Just mellow. Anyway, good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, of course, and this is Decisions. Why do we call it that? Because everything we do requires us to make one. And even when we don't make one, well, we just made one. Good morning to you. It is time for our daily bread, something to get our day started in the right way. And that's what I intend to do right now. Well, hang loose there. Hang loose. We got a lot of things to talk about today, if you want to. And if you don't want to, well, I'll still keep talking anyway. Hang loose. We'll be back.
Henry Liddon said, "Nothing is really lost by a life of sacrifice."
Our Daily Bread.
Today's encouragement from the Our Daily Bread devotional was written by Bill Crowder. In the midday heat of summer, while traveling in the American South, Bill and his wife stopped for ice cream. On the wall behind the counter, they saw a sign reading, "Absolutely no snowmobiling." The humor worked because it was so unexpected. Sometimes saying the unexpected has the most effect. Think of this in regard to a statement by Jesus. "Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it." In a kingdom where the king is a servant, losing your life becomes the only way to find it. This is a startling message to a world focused on self-promotion and self-protection. In practical terms, how can we lose our life? The answer is summed up in the word sacrifice. When we sacrifice, we put into practice Jesus' way of living. Instead of grasping for our own wants and needs, we esteem the needs and well-being of others. Jesus not only taught about sacrifice, but he also lived it by giving himself for us. His death on the cross became the ultimate expression of the heart of the King, who lived up to his own words. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends.
Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Matthew chapter 10, verses 35 through 42. "For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies will be the members of his own household. Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. Anyone who welcomes you welcomes me, and anyone who welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet as a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person as a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. And if anyone gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones who is my disciple, truly I tell you, that person will certainly not lose their reward." That's today's scripture reading from Matthew chapter 10, verses 35 through 42.
Let's pray together. Loving Father, teach us the heart of Christ, that we might more fully appreciate the sacrifice he has made for us and be willing to sacrifice ourselves for others. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Well,
Henry
it's
Liddon
time.
said, "Nothing is really lost by a life of sacrifice."
I got you. I got you on that one. Yeah, we got that. We're good on that one. Okay, time to rise and shine. Now let us pay homage to our armed forces of these United States of America, because whom without, well, there wouldn't be a United States of America. Or at least it wouldn't be free, if nothing else. Okay, it's time to rise and shine, people. It's time to get up. You're losing daylight. We'll be back. And since this is an Air Force town, we have to pay homage to the United States Air Force, whom without the United States Army, they wouldn't exist. So they need to give us some prep every once in a while. And of course, hey, where would we be without the United States Marine Corps? Have I told y'all the story yet about that one? I will. I'll tell you. Good morning, Christine. Up there in wherever you live, in California or North Carolina or Montana, where was that? I know it's somewhere. It's somewhere where it gets cold. Like Montana somewhere. Woo! Alrighty then. Alrighty. Good after. Well, sometimes I just can't remember. One day goes into the other so fast until I can't remember whether one is it's day or night or morning or some days the days just go too fast, don't they? I was thinking the other day, as I was talking to my son in Fort Leonard Wood, I said, I remember putting you on top of a table when we was having dinner. I put him on when we go to restaurants. I used to take this little cart thing. I used to take this little, whatever that thing is you put babies in when you're rolling around, bassinet, whatever it is. We just put it on top of the table. Now you can eat the table. Man, life has a way of humbling you, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Now, coming up around 7:30 or so, if I can get him to make sure he calls in. Well, actually, he's going to join us in our virtual studio. That's Doug Singleton, who is the county commissioner. He's going to hang out with us this morning for a little while around 7:30. As soon as I can figure out how to get him on with us. I gotta work on some things here. Okay, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Um, so how's everybody doing? Now again, let me make sure. Let me make sure that we have our other thing going on here too, because we have to make sure. Um, Now, I mean, there's nobody who nobody nobody. I mean, nobody's surprised that the Tehran would would attack our things too. I mean, let's just face it now. Let's just face it now. We do to them, they do to us. Okay, I mean, listen, I don't. That's part of where. Hopefully, though, I haven't heard about. Well, I mean, if we lose one life, that's too many. But I haven't heard about a lot of people losing their lives on this thing, even in the one on the base in what's it, Qatar. So that's always a good sign. So I think we this is one of those situations where like two dogs, um, they pee in the yard, so you know where their territory is. Well, that's what Iran and America is doing right about now. And listen, I'm not mad at them, but we do need to get on from some of this. So hopefully we will. Hopefully we will. We'll figure it out. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just make sure I get that over here again. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay then. So if you're up this morning and you have something that you want to you have something you want to impart with us, you have something that you think it's uh, worth us knowing, please feel free to send us a text or a email or a call. We do have a number here, and it's 521 As soon as I figure how to get that on the screen again, I'll make sure I put it up there so you can, you know what's going on. Okay. So that's what we want to do. So I'm trying to get okay, I was late this morning. I was sitting there dreaming about the time I was on the beaches of Honolulu. I was sitting there dreaming about Waikiki and Oahu and Ewa Beach and all those places like that. I was because now personally I don't want to go back over there. I mean, I don't mind going as a tourist, but I don't think they can show me too much I haven't already seen over there. I think I've seen everything. But for some reason, it was on my mind today, in my dreaming thing last night, and I don't know where it came from, but okay, so maybe it's the hot weather over here or something like that. Maybe that's what it is. So again, I was dreaming. I was late. I woke up a little late, but this is not really the military anymore. So I don't really. If I get a little late here and there, then it's no big deal. Um, we've had the most interesting conversations lately about violence in Montgomery, and it's still going on, and it's not. And Montgomery's not the only city. Montgomery's not the only city that has violence. Um, a lot of cities have violence, but and I'm gonna have to get the mayor on too because we got to talk to him because you know what has changed the temperature of Montgomery since I've been here since 1991, and I will admit to you that it's probably worse now than it has ever been when it comes to the street. The question is why now. And here's a few months ago, there was a guy in town, and he had a YouTube channel, And he came to Montgomery and talked to the people who are out there perpetrating all of this stuff that's going on. I mean, he was and what everybody was wondering, how come the police cannot go back to that film and use people's own words against them, and somehow, um, somehow stop some of this. I mean, they were on YouTube. They were bragging about it. They were telling everything that was being done. So how can the Montgomery, and I don't know if there's a constitutional issue there, but anything you put out in the public eye can be used by the public. And they felt, let me put it this way, they felt so assured of themselves that they go on film and say all the things that they were doing, and they didn't feel any recompense was coming. They just didn't care, I guess. I mean, I can't tell you. But why can't the police uh go down there, go look at that film and look at some of these people. Now the question is, though, and again, here's the question: what has brought this about? Honestly, what has brought all of this carnage about in our city? What I mean, now yesterday, the chief Gray Bowles, whatever his name is, he him and the mayor got together one more time and told us they got some new procedures. Um, they're going to put some new procedures in place. Okay, that's what they said they're going to do, which I'm good with that. I mean that's cool. I don't have a problem with that at all. Um, but I thought a couple of years ago when we came up with the Office of Violence Prevention for $250,000 um, a year budget, that was going to do it. No, no. Then we signed I believe we signed a contract with somebody called Live Free. Um, I believe it was a couple of $1 million. It's not working. It's not. Matter of fact, it's hard to live free when you have desperados running the streets of Montgomery. It's hard to live free. It just is. But all of these, and then I did some research on Live Free and some of the places that they are, and they're not really doing much better than what we're doing here. So I don't know why the mayor thought that for some reason that having spending more money when this has got nothing to do with money. As a matter of fact, I keep saying what we need in this city, and this is just me, is a city is a city recreational hall that you pay to belong to, $5 a month, whatever the case may be, because people don't appreciate things unless they pay for them. Okay, you give somebody a brand new car, it'll probably be in the shop like more than it is because you don't have to take care of it. Okay, so what we need, and this is just me, is a gym that the city runs, and the participants in the gym, you'd have one part of the gym, it would be educational. You would put tutoring for free. All you got to do is show up over there. One part would be sports. You could play basketball, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to be, what kind of activities you want to do. One would be crafts, if you know, and technology. Okay, so we got sports, we got learning going on, and we got technology. And the city would do. But here's the caveat: you don't get to come to it for free. You don't get to come to the gym because you just want to come. You pay $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever the case may be, and the city provides at a given point. The city provides a bus to go back and forth to the place. Because one of the things that I always hear people saying, kids, and they say, well, there's nothing to do. Well, actually, there's a lot of things to do in Montgomery. Now, we're going to talk to Doug Singleton probably around 7:30 or so to, well, it's 7:26 already. But I gotta send him this thing here. So, all right. I got to send Doug a message here so he can. We're going to make sure that he gets in here. So how's everybody doing? All right, I need a combo check here to make sure my phone is working. So I don't want anybody to make sure we yeah, when you go live, type in at phone. Oh, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that later on. All right, good. So there's still a lot of things about this Facebook thing and this thing here. I'm still trying to learn. But yesterday I was doing some research and I kept asking myself, what is the common denominator of most cities in America that have these problems with bad education and um, bad crime? Ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised of what I found. The common denominator. Mm-hmm. Yep. The common denominator. What do you guys think it is? Okay. I'm going to put the test to you guys. What do you think the common denominator in most cities in this country where you had a not so great educational system and you have high crime? What do you think the common denominator is? hmm I do for the last couple of days. Believe it or not, I've been trying to figure this out, and I finally figured it out. Okay, I did. I figured it out. I got it. All right. So uh, let me see if I can get the commissioner on right quick, and because I told him around 7:30 because he's got a meeting. So let me see if I can get him on, bring him into our virtual studio. So you guys hang loose for a second, because I'll be right back. Okay, I got. Don't go nowhere. Then we're going to get into the common denominator of what do you think the common denominator? Okay, let me see. There's Doug right there. And so we go, let me see now. Let me see. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay, then let me make sure I get this thing right. Okay. D-I-C-E. Mm-hmm. I got you. I'll be right with you guys in a second. I should have had this already, but I didn't. All right, then. I got to get this right. So then we get on to some great conversations here. Because, okay. Uh, All right, let me see if I can get this together here. ELKINS. Okay, so there we go. All right, there he goes. So Doug, if you're out there, I just text you the link. So uh, uh take care of that. Okay, we good. Anyway, come on. So of the common denominator of most of the cities. I'm not saying all, most of the city, but most of the cities that have these problems of crime and bad education system. And again, listen, I don't. I think I got my own. I have my own. Theory behind this thing. But most of the cities in this country that are just ravaged with crime and bad education systems. What I tell you what, I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you think the common denominator is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, wait, I'm waiting. Somebody write it on the thing. What do you believe what all of these cities have in common? Most of them have in common. And when I say most of them, I mean absolutely most of them. Okay. I mean 90% of them have this one particular thing in common. Does anybody know what that is? When you figure that out, you call me. Okay. Okay. Lack of support from no, No. That's not. I mean, that may be part of the equation, but that's not the big deal. The big deal is there's something else, and I think most people who are somewhat socially adept, socially and not inept, people who follow the social trends of our culture, uh, they know the answer. They do. They know the answer. Okay. Now, if you think you have that answer, 521 not 2963, because there is a denominator here, and it is a common denominator. And as I've done my research the last couple of days, it's obvious that there's something wrong with these particular cities and the rationale behind what's going on. And Montgomery is the same way. Now, I'm not blaming a person. I'm not blaming a person for it, but there is some thought, I believe, that has gone into Meemaw. Meemaw has got a 4,200 bed prison out in Elmore County that they built. I don't know if they're done with it or not. You don't build a 4,200 bed prison unless you're pretty sure that you got somebody to put in it. You don't build a prison that big in little old Elmore County unless you think you're gonna put a whole lot of people in it. Okay, and I don't really know if prison is really doing what it was supposed to do. It doesn't make they call it the Department of Corrections. I don't know what they're trying to correct, but okay, I don't think it's working either. So so come on, you guys know what the common denominator is. You know what it is. I mean, I think you know what it is anyway. Okay, you know what it is. Okay. Now, there will be those out there that will tell you that I am wrong. Well, they can say I'm wrong all they want to, but the facts speak for themselves. Okay? The facts speak for themselves, and I have it on good authority. I have it on I can produce the research. Um and so why is it what is the common denominator in all of these um, places where crime and education sucks? Okay. hmm and there's a political twinge to this. But I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you. Okay. Some people are not gonna like lack of parenting skills. That's part of that is part of the problem. But when did we start when did we start this this parenting matrix? When did we start with when did that all start? Okay, because I mean, like mommy said, I'll knock the black off you. That's what she used to tell me. Okay, so that's a lot of knocking. But when did all this begin, and who began it? Okay, well here is the problem. And I know there are going to be people who say that it's not really the problem, but it is. It is. It's not, and it's not a particular. It's a mindset. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you what. And I did this. Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, and a few other places have reported having the highest homicide rates in America. Okay, and not only them, uh, there are there are 20 cities with the highest crime rates in America. And he said there's no discernible difference in average murder, rape, or aggravated assault rates based on this particular affiliation that I'm going to tell you about. But I can tell you that, well, I hate to do it this way um, because when I do this, it is going to um, sort of. I don't mean to put put a oh, okay. Um, hey Doug, I sent you a link to your phone. Click on that link, and it will bring you to the studio, the virtual studio. So just yeah. No, 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 no. I'm not blaming one person of the city because I look. I mean, I did a lot of reading. This is rare, but I did a lot of reading about this because, well, because it needs to be read. Okay. Now, so what I did was, and y'all can tell us why. I don't know why it is. Okay. Yeah. But it is what it is. Okay. They did an analysis of the crime a couple of years ago in America, Los Great Lakes, and it said that 11 of the 15 deadliest cities and 30 out of the top 50 deadliest city was all ran by Democrats. That is what it is. It is what it is. Now the question is, why? Mostly every city in America, mostly over a preponderance of those cities, okay, are ran by somebody who tethers themselves to the Democratic Party. And now we can raise sand about it. We don't have to like it. But it is what it is. You cannot refute science and fact. Okay, so the problem is, what is it that the Democrat Party philosophically believe that makes the places where they govern bad? Well, you can look at Gavin Newsom right now in California, and you can get some of that out. So whose welfare does their philosophy have a tendency to look out after? Nobody's but their own. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, another analysis: 15 of the deadliest cities in America are ran by Democrats, including St. Louis, Baltimore, New Orleans, Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Chicago, Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Pittsburgh. And based on FBI data, okay, the top 10 cities for overall violence in America are all ran by Democrats. So, what is it that makes that party, okay, their philosophy of that party, somehow it brings us to a place where we are in America right now? Okay. And if you think about it, most of the cities back during George Floyd things, stuff of that nature, most cities that burned were ran by Democrats. Most schools that are terrible are ran by Democrats. So we can. I'm not blaming the people. I'm blaming the philosophy of victimization. Well, why do you do the things you do? Well, because back in 1962, they did things to my dad and stuff like that, which they probably did. Um, but I'm telling you that there is a group of people in this country that wants to see another group of people at the bottom. There's a group, I don't, because as long as we are fighting one another and blaming somebody else for where we are, as long as we blaming somebody else for where we are, then we never have to take responsibility for our own self. Okay? We never have to do that. Um, we have a state ran by a Republican. That's true, we do. But and I will tell you, we do. But I will tell you, the cities that are in disarray are ran by Democrats. Show me, Camelia, show me a city in Alabama that's ravaged with crime that's ran by a Republican. Just show me one. Give me one. Let me call them up. Show me a city in Alabama that is ran by a Republican, a true Republican, that's ravaged with crime and bad. Even the public education institution, the institution itself, has been ran by Democrats forever. So show me a city in Alabama that's ran by a Republican that is ravaged by crime. Okay, just I got all day. Well, I don't have all day, but I got a little while. Anyway, Doug, I sent you a. All you gotta do is click on the text I sent you and answer a couple of questions, and it'll bring you in. Okay, if you can get in. I know you're a good Republican. I know you can figure that out. Anyway, so the numbers here. Now, if you want to have a conversation about this, we can. We can have the conversation about it because there's something wrong with America's personality right now. We are not exhibiting. We are not exhibiting the things that we say we believe. We're just not doing it, and I don't know why. Now, I will admit to you that the one thing I get, the one part about the Trump thing, this whole Trump immigration policy, I do not like. I do not like us going around like Nazi Germany and picking people up. I just don't. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. And I believed in immigration. I think people should come over here. As a matter of fact, there's only one group of people in America that's not immigrants, and that's us. That's black folks. Um, so, but I don't. I know we have laws on immigration. I realize that we have laws on immigration. I realize that, but we we don't need to do it in a heartless kind of way because Biden, uh, especially Biden, invited a bunch of people over here. Oh, Doug, Commissioner.
I clicked on that, but there's no clicking on that link. I pasted it into Facebook, and that's how I got you. But it don't say anything about me talking to you.
Well, it brings you into a studio, but that's okay. We can have the conversation because what I want to talk to you about is something that can't seem to go away. You know, I think you and Elton Dean were one of the two people who pretty much supported the Whitewater Park. Would that be a correct statement?
Well, it was really Elton.
Right.
It took me a while to jump on board, but it's kind of like now. It's I use the analogy that your teenage daughter comes home pregnant and baby's on the way. You may not like the situation. You may not like the father, uh, but the baby's coming, and you don't have any other option. So
You got to deal
the
with it.
baby's on the way. You better love that baby. That's
Yeah.
your grandbaby. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what we're doing. So
Well, I never have seen so many people raise so much hell about something that potentially is really good for this city. Um,
well, I mean, Kevin,
yeah,
it's the same people. They raise hell. The same people that say, well, there's nothing to do in Montgomery. We have nothing to do. Nothing ever comes to Montgomery. No, Montgomery never does anything bold. Huntsville's got this. Mobile's got that. And it's the same people that do that. And they're going to be negative. And that's just where some people are. I mean, they want to sit around and they get happiness and hoping that they're right and something turns out bad instead of, it's kind of like saying, well, I didn't vote for Trump or I didn't vote for Biden, so I want them to fail. I want them to be, I did not vote for Joe Biden, but when Joe Biden was the president of the United States, I pulled for Joe Biden. I supported him. I wanted him to be the best president we ever had because my future, my kids' future, my investments, my life is dependent on who sits in that Oval Office. But people will be saying, well, I would rather go broke. I'd rather suffer just to be able to say, well, told y'all shouldn't have elected Trump. Told you shouldn't have elected Barack Obama. It's just crazy how people are sometimes. But that's the kind of world we live in. And Montgomery seems like it has more than our share of it.
Yeah, I've heard some businesses. I either heard the mayor or somebody say that a lot of businesses have decided to come. At least a couple have decided to come to Montgomery because of Whitewater, because they.
Well, I could stand on in trial under oath and tell you. I'll tell you two stories real quick. Manna, 1.2 billion. That's billion with a B. Billion. Manna. When it got down to the final two sites they were checking, they were going to decide on. One was in Texas, one was here. I got a call on Friday night from a guy named Quentin Martin. Quentin's the number 2 guy. Junior Bridgman owns Manna. Quentin is the number 2 guy. Unfortunately, Junior died about 2 months ago at speaking at a boys club banquet. Great guy, former NBA basketball player. But Quentin and I worked together at Coke. He was in Coke in Atlanta. I was Coke in Montgomery. We became friends back then. Quentin told me, now this came from the guy that made the decision. Now you can take it whatever you want to say. But he told me flat out, he said, Doug, when it came down to the final 2 sites, what put Montgomery over the top was Montgomery Whitewater and the quality of life for our people to be able to go to something like that and seeing that the city is still reinvesting in themselves and taking chances to invest in the people. So, all right, that's 1.2 billion, 400 or 500 jobs, paying an average of $70,000 to start. I mean, okay. If nothing else ever happens with Whitewater, it basically pays for itself right there. The second one, you heard of a company called Meta.
Yeah.
Now,
Microsoft.
I'm not going to sit here and say Meta came to Montgomery, Alabama because of Whitewater. Companies relocated Montgomery, Alabama for a number of reasons. One, we have 2 interstates that cross. Number 2, the foresight of our people before Doug Singleton got on the commission. This was many years ago. The Henry Fulmers, the John Knights, the Richard Hannon, the Alvin Holmes, people that had the foresight to say, let's go out to West Montgomery and let's develop these cow pastures out there and put infrastructure in, electrical, water, sewage, gas, all this stuff. Let's go ahead and invest in that and put that out there. And at some point, the people will come. Well, we're sitting under shade of trees that we didn't plant. Meta, I met with Meta twice, well, actually 3 times. All 3 times we met at Whitewater. That's where they wanted to go. We went out there when there was nothing but dirt and dust, and tractors were breaking ground. We went back out there the next time they came, and you saw the building starting to go up and the channel starting to be built. The third time is when we announced the grand opening. We had the grand opening on July the 8th of 2023. All 3 times, the leadership of Meta, the only place they wanted to go when they came to Montgomery and meet was at Montgomery Whitewater, even when there was nothing but dirt out there. So I think I'm comfortable in saying, hey, it probably made a difference. The third reason is that companies come to Montgomery, Alabama, and the state of Alabama is because of the incentives that have been provided by Governor Ivey. Greg Canfield first, Department of Congress, now Ellen McNair is in that role. But the great incentives that the state of Alabama gives to recruit these companies to come to Montgomery, Alabama, we owe an unbelievable debt of gratitude to the governor's office, especially for Meta. City, county, we put nothing in the Meta, not a dime. They didn't ask. The state took that lead. The state made that happen. And then, on Whitewater, I'm not going to say it's going to keep Maxwell Air Force Base here,
Mm-hmm.
but it sure is a lot more attractive when 1.25 million people drive down Maxwell Boulevard every year. Many of them going to Maxwell Air Force Base. Many of them are leaders in our military from across the country. They don't see a homeless Salvation Army on the right-hand blighted property. They see a beautiful whitewater park that their families, now when they come, they can walk their dog, they can push the stroller, they can walk to our park, they can enjoy that. If it does nothing else but helps us keep the missions of Maxwell, the missions are the key. If people say, "Well, Maxwell ain't never going to move away from here," well, that's what they said in Selma, Craig Field, many years ago. But no, I don't think Maxwell ever moved. They got too much infrastructure there. But I do know they would move their mission, and the mission is what brings the people here. Maxwell Air Force Base is our #1 employer in Montgomery County. $2 to $4 billion economic impact, depending on what year it is and who's doing the research. Regardless, huge. If we lost Maxwell Air Force Base, again, I'm not going to say Whitewater's going to keep them here. It helps. Go talk to the leadership in Maxwell, talk to the generals, talk to the families. Just had an event last week at the zoo. We honored Military Appreciation Day, and talking to all the people out there, all I heard from them is how much we love going out to Whitewater. And then, the last thing is quality of life. Again, we got nothing that we have nothing to do in Montgomery. Now you got something to do. Well, it costs too much. It don't cost nothing to walk through that gate. You can walk through that gate, go out there, walk around, enjoy the water, sit back. If you want to buy your favorite beverage, buy a favorite beverage and just sit there and watch the water and enjoy your afternoon. It costs nothing. We have free concerts out there. It costs you nothing. Hopefully you'll eat something or maybe drink something, but you don't have to. So everybody said, it costs too much. Now, if you want to participate in the water activities, the zip lines, rope climbs, trails, biking, yeah, that costs money because we have to staff that stuff.
Right.
But,
So
Kevin, you and I are on the same page.
Right. Have we
is negative.
have we failed to properly market it? Which is why people don't really understand the indirect good things about it being that. Listen, I'm tired. The only time you hear about Montgomery, Alabama, is the KKK or what happened back in '60. Those things did happen. We don't want to forget about them. We don't ever want to go back there again. But it's nice to have a plethora of things that people come here to see, not just to linger. I mean, misery makes money in Montgomery. Okay.
Well, Kevin, I wish we could market it better, but market it, so now you go back to everybody, well, they're losing money. They're not making any money. Well, if you spend more money on marketing, that's an expense. Of course, you could argue if you invest in marketing, it's going to get the revenues up. But I will say this, and all the people out there, and there was an article came out in, I think, some 1819, I don't know. I don't read
1819, yeah.
Whatever. I really never heard of them before, but something came out yesterday, and the guy was talking about things that happened, 2 or 3 years ago, and said they haven't made a profit yet. Well, I would tell that guy, if you will come to me today and say, Doug, I've got a business that is going to turn a profit in 2 years, and you can guarantee me that, I'll scrounge up every nickel I can find, and I'll find investors, and we'll go do that. No business makes money, especially this huge, in 2 years. And then on top of that, let's just say it never makes a profit at all. Based on what it's done to help us economic impact, based on the relationship with Maxwell, based on quality of life, do we close everything in Montgomery that don't make money? So let's start listing them off. The Montgomery Zoo needs to be closed. It's not making money. Alabama Shakespeare Festival. How about the museum? It's not making money. So why aren't we keeping those things? How about our parks? Let's just close our parks. I mean, we having to cut. The city has to maintain them. Costs money. Nobody pays a dime to go to a park. So let's cut all the parks off. How about all the baseball and softball programs for the youth here in Montgomery? None of them make money. None of them make a profit. They're a cost to government. Let's close all those down. That's what you keep hearing, Kevin, and it's just I'm just so amazed at sometimes of the ignorance. But a lot of people are not happy until they're unhappy, and unfortunately, we have a more than our share of that here in Montgomery, Alabama. And I told somebody the other day that was complaining to me about everything in Montgomery, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Did you get sentenced to Montgomery, Alabama? How many more years you got on your sentence? You can leave. And we've had a lot of people leave. We don't want people to leave, but we need people to rally around what's good in Montgomery and quit just focusing on everything bad. And most of the people complaining about Whitewater, they've never even been.
Yeah,
They have no idea.
That's true. I know the other day at the city council meeting, we were balking. Some of the folks were balking at $500K annual funding for agreement for Whitewater Park, but we didn't have any problem signing I guess a letter to give money to live free.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm a results person. End of the day, what matters to me is on the scoreboard. In football, it's great that we played hard. We played good. We played hard. We still got beat. End of the day, the scoreboard is all that matters. I'm hoping that this money that we put in to Live Free, city and the county both voted.
Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money the county put into that one?
Yeah, it was $3.5 million between the city and the county.
Okay, and so we want
1.75 million.
So
1.75 million apiece, city and the county.
Right.
And I hope and pray the program's going to be great.
Yeah, right.
I really don't. Honestly, I'm probably ignorant on it because I really don't understand what. I know there's been some rallies. I know there's been some signs. I know there's been some different things that I don't know about. But
yeah, I hear you.
End of the day, we're not winning this battle.
No, we're not. So, not the way we're doing it. No, but that's $3 million, and we whining about $500K for a. First of all, we know that this Whitewater Park has got notice across the nation. We know that for sure. It's been written up as a great place to come visit, and it's an infant right now. It's an infant. I mean, it's going to have to grow on people, but I'm glad it's here. I'm glad we can bring people. We can bring people to this city because not because of the terrible things of the past, but because of the potential for a bright future. And I think Whitewater is part of that future.
And Kevin,
even though I don't,
Brian, we can't thank Brian Stevenson enough, EJI, for the tourism and the focus and that he's brought to Montgomery. We've got so many great things in Montgomery. We got the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. How many people have been out to that? I mean, that's world-class theater here in Montgomery, Alabama. And we just got so many advantages. Montgomery could thrive so great. It just breaks my heart. I was born in Jackson Hospital. I'm probably going to die in Jackson Hospital because I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay here. And I just pray that we'll somehow, everybody, if we could just try to all maybe work together and quit being so critical of projects. I don't care if they're critical of me. I mean, I've got to the age it don't even bother me anymore. My best buddy is, my buddy Don there. I wake up every morning looking forward to hearing from him. But just all get, if we could just all just either get on board or so maybe it comes a time in life you need to move somewhere else. But let's try to get everybody together and look at the location of Montgomery, Alabama. I mean, we're 3 hours. Less than 3 hours from the beach, 2 hours to Atlanta, 2.5 to Mobile, less than 2 to Birmingham. I mean, we're in strategically a great, great place, and we just need to all just try to start working together better. I love what you said earlier about, all the crime and all that.
Yeah.
End of the day, the crime comes down to the family, and, kids today are no different than kids were when you and I were a kid, and when my grandparents were kids. Kids are no different. Parents are different.
But we do have a society today that is more permissive, at least than it used to be.
Though. It's
Yeah.
parents that's not kids to permit them. I mean, kids
Right.
don't
Right.
have to.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the parents, and people, are having babies just to have babies, and there's no real men, and there's not as many real men in this world. I mean, anybody can be a sperm donor,
Yeah.
but who wants to be a father? And so until we get that part under control, because you got babies having babies now, and that's where kind of the root of the family is what's really killing us.
Yeah. Well, I wanted you on just so we could clear the air, at least over here about Whitewater. 'Cause I'm glad it's here. Now I will admit to you that I had a hard time letting go of the rope when I did Slide for Life. So
Hey, I did too. Hey, I did it up in Charlotte, and I was, oh Lord, I squeezed that rope so hard. But you're a war hero. You jumped out of airplanes.
well, that's
And
true. I
yeah,
am a bona fide certified, not marginalized U.S. Army paratrooper, and
you got to get on your podcast where people can call in, because I love taking questions. I love hearing people criticize me. So you got to get that on there.
well, I can if you hit the link that I sent you.
Well, you got to show me how to do that.
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it. Doug Singleton, who is the county commissioner for the county of Montgomery, Alabama, just in case anybody knows, talking about Whitewater and for those folks who don't live here, we have a rafting. Those kind of places where you take the kayak and you do all that water thing like that. I don't really know much about it. I get hard time in the bathtub. Sometimes that's too much water for me. But I love to see the talent that goes into those people who are willing to go in the water. I mean, listen, Montgomery, and I'm pretty sure we, like most cities, we have naysayers on everything. The joke goes is that some people were paddling across the pond, and Jesus was walking on the water, and somebody was complaining about him walking. Why can't he ride in the boat like us? So no matter what we do and who does it, Republican or Democrat, we're going to complain. Okay. No matter who the mayor is, we are going to complain, whether it's Emory. They complained with Emory when I got here, whether it's Bobby Bryant, Todd Strange, Mr. Reed. We're going to complain about it. Okay. Now, and listen, complaining is good. Sometimes it helps us out. Complaining is good. But what's our answer? What's our answer? What's our answer to the thing? So I know there are people who whining all the time about, but I like the fact that we got something to bring people to this city besides misery of the past. And listen, every once in a while, I realize you have to be reminded of the past, because sometimes we have a tendency to forget. I'm with you on that one. But if that's the only reason why we're going to bring people here, we're going to die on the vine. So I'm with Whitewater. So no matter what curmudgeon says or anybody else says, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. As a matter of fact, tell you what I'm gonna do. 4th of July, the holiday before, I'm gonna go out there and get in one of them boats. Make sure y'all have one of those things on those. Make sure we have one of those. What do you call that thing that you put on you so you don't drown? Whatever it is, you got to get me one of those and see whether or not. I'm gonna go out there. Okay. So now y'all get WSFA needs to come out there. Montgomery Advertising needs to come out there to show proof that I'm going. I'm gonna come out there and look at the water. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to Whitewater on the 4th of July. I'm going to go out there and celebrate that weekend. We're gonna go out there. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get in the boat and in the water, and just make sure you put one of those things on me. So just in case I can't, just in case I can't, well, you know what I mean. All right. Hey, got to pause for the calls. We'll be right back after this, after this little break here. So don't go any place, please. Okay, we're back. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Well, it's not even. It's well, I get these days mixed up, Donna. But it is ironic that the city and county of Montgomery, gave this organization called Live Free $1.7 million. Can somebody please tell me what have we gotten for $3 million? What is there? I mean, I haven't heard anything about it. What have we gotten? We're whining about Whitewater, but what have we? I mean, $3 million. No, listen, that's a lot of money. I like to figure out what Live Free does. So in the city, they going to give $500,000 annually. It's a funding group for Whitewater Park. It's a good deal. I think it's a good deal. I do. I think it's a really good deal. And I don't even like water that much, but well, I do like water. But after living in Honolulu for 5 years, it's kind of difficult to appreciate just little bitty water. I mean, when you live on the Pacific Ocean, literally live on the Pacific Ocean, right on in Honolulu, it's just the water is blue, it's nice, and I didn't really that crazy about that water. But we're gonna talk about because I don't really know what. Can somebody tell me what Live Free does in Montgomery? Has there been any? Obviously, they're not talking to the right people because we still got the same crime and stuff that we've been having, even a little bit worse now. So somebody just tell me what we. I mean, what have we gotten for $3 million? I think the mayor needs to answer that one. I mean, what have we gotten? I mean, really, Live Free. Well, I don't think people are feeling too free right now. But anyway, good evening, good morning to everybody. Hope this day finds you well. It's absolutely the sun is bright, the sky. If you woke up this morning, you was on the wake up list, which means it's a pretty good thing. So no matter what, I always tell people, there's no such thing as a bad day. There are only days where things happen bad, but the day itself is still a good day. So you can and remember this: it can always be worse. I know. Even when you're at your lowest, there's somebody lower than you. So don't be whining and complaining about it. Just let us just deal with today, okay? Just deal with today. Let me see. You don't have to hear about it because you don't. What's it? You don't have to hear about it because well, what good is a meeting? Seriously, for $3 million, I ought to be able to hear about some of the things just through the normal transmission of messages, or TV or radio or some. I mean, $3 million. I just what are we getting for it? I mean, obviously they're I mean, I don't know. Let me see what Live Free is because I just don't get it. That money, I mean, for that kind of money, for $1.7 million, we could have funded. We could fund some 501c3s here, and do I would think a stupendous job if they had access to that kind of money. Okay. I mean, nothing beats local. Okay. And what is Live Free? Let me see. Live Free or Die Hard. Let's see. Live Free. Let's see. Nonprofit. RO. Okay. Let me see. What do they do? Join Live Free in building safe and equitable community. I love that word. That equitable. See, when I see that word in there, then that means they're going to pretend that they're going to equalize everything for everybody. Okay, I'm just their community Live Free USA. They say donate to end gun violence and mass incarceration. Okay. Again, I just want to know what they've done. We do this work for thousands of community-based organizations, faith leaders, and directly impacted leaders and movement passengers throughout the country. We believe that by investing in those closest to the pain and helping to build a new system of public safety, we can truly bring peace to our cities. And again, I just want to know what they've done. What have we gotten for $3 million? Okay, it's kind of like Black Lives Matter. What we found out about Black Lives Matter is that the people who got paid out of Black Lives Matter, they bought mansions. Okay, they bought mansions in Los Angeles and a couple other places. I'm just asking the question: what have we gotten? Okay, so I Live Free USA. That's what it says. It's a verified organization. I think they're out of Oakland, California. This is right. But so what have we gotten? What have we gotten, Mr. Mayor? What have we gotten out of this? What has Live Free given us? Is there a Live Free building where they do tutoring? Is there a Live Free counseling center where people who've lost loved ones can go? And what is there? Is there a Live Free place that if your child or somebody is killed or your somebody dies of violence, will they help you in all manner of ways? What does Live Free do? $3 million for the city and the county, $1.7 million per year. What have we got for it? As a matter of fact, since the money was going to them, I haven't heard much about them. But I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying that they don't do anything. My question is, what have they done? What has Live Free done? And we whine about giving money to Whitewater. We see Whitewater. We know what it does. We know what it does. It's out there for people who want to participate in whitewater rafting, or at least whatever you call it, whatever that. I don't know if that's rafting or not, but I do know they go kayaking. So in America, we give lots of money to organizations who seem to have a good message. Reading is give me something to read about Live Free and what they've done for the city of Montgomery. That's all I'm asking. That's $3 million. What have they? I mean, I'm telling you, if we gave local nonprofits money, we could do a better job with $3 million than $1.7, $3 million in the county say than they can. They don't know us. And I say us because I've been here 34 years. I'm one of us now. So they can't. They don't know us. Their businesses in Chicago and St. Louis and places like that. I just want to know what they've done. What have they? Do they have any programs in Montgomery that we can go look at, that we can read about? That's all I want to know. And again, I don't know everything. I haven't been every place. I don't know everything. But is there a place where Live Free has done anything to change the paradigm of Montgomery? $3 million is not change. That's lots of money. So all I want to know is tell me what they've done. Because I'm going to get on them like we get on Whitewater. Well, have they done a great job marketing? They may be doing something. I mean, I don't know. They may be doing something. But can somebody tell me what it is? What have they done? I don't know. But anyway, the numbers here, just in case you want. I mean, is anybody out there that familiar with Live Free? Okay, since the city council wants to raise sand about $500,000, well, you guys are you didn't raise sand about that $1.7 million. I imagine somebody may have, but not that I know of. So, what has Live Free done? It's called Live Free USA. Okay. So I guess I got my answer. Okay. Oh, you don't try to hear about it because you don't do meetings. Well, again, I do read and I look at the newspapers and I go online. I look at things. So there ought to be news about this that I can go look up and see what people are doing. For $3 million, there ought to be some place where I could find out what they're doing in Montgomery. So what are they doing in Montgomery? I just want to know, what programs has Live Free come up with in Montgomery, Alabama? or the county or what? I just want to know. Are we counseling? Do we got a do we got a little football thing going on? For the kids because a good friend of mine, Andre Howard. They have these kids out there in the summertime and they're playing football and talking to them and doing all kinds of things. Uh, I mean, just tell me what they're doing. Camila, what are they doing? That's all I want to know. Somebody, for $3 million, somebody should know what's going on. I mean, I think somebody should know. But it's going to be another one of those like Black Lives Matter. The verbiage sounds good. Oh, because Black Lives Matter. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. That really. Listen, I agree with them. Black lives, white lives, Indian lives, Mexican. Everybody's life matters. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out, what they are doing. That's all I want to know. What are they doing? Let me see if I can find anything online about Live Free and Montgomery, Alabama. Okay, Live Free. Okay, let me see. Let me see. And Montgomery, Alabama. Okay. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Uh, Together We Rise Public Safety Initiative. That's Live for You as a conducts a training for frontline staff. When did this come out? When did this article come out? This article came out. I can't find a date on here, but 2024, January the 28th, 2024. The Together We Rise Public Safety Initiative is a comprehensive, I love that word, comprehensive plan designed to address the issues of violence in Montgomery. Ooh, we failed on that one. Alabama. It builds on existing efforts and introduces new strategies to foster a safer and more resilient community. Woo, lost that one too. This web page provides an overview of the initiative. Okay, okay. Community engagement, building trust and collaboration with residents throughout neighborhood initiatives, community forums, violence prevention. Ooh, we lost that one too. Implementing evidence based programs to address the root causes of violence, such as poverty, lack of opportunity, and mental health issues. Okay. Police reform. Oh, that's what we need to do. We got to have some police first. Uh, Promoting transparency, accountability, and community oriented policing practices. You see, our problem in America, we give all this money to people. They come before the city council, and we never really think much else about it. We never really think of, okay. I mean, all this stuff sounds good. I mean, it sounds good. Data driven approach, using data to identify trends of hotspots to risk factors to inform targeted interventions. Now that sounds good. That really does. That sounds really good. Again, $3 million. So tell me what they have accomplished in a year and a half. I mean, what do we got here? Okay, so it sounds good. Okay, it sounds good. And we do this all the time in politics in America. We come before the city council, we come before the Congress, we come before the county commission. We come up with some grandiose ideologies, some grandiose ideas, and then it dies on the vine. But the money is still the same. Again, $3 million going to local. Now, if we're going to give somebody $3 million, let's give it to the local folks so they can re-put that money back into our community. And I would imagine too. I mean, I know that QB Ray and QB Ray and a few other people out there. They're always involved. They're always involved in the community. I know they live here. So why in the world do we want to give somebody money that lives in St. Louis or California, a place? Why do we want to do that? And to think that they have our best interest at heart, they don't know us. That's like having the Koreans or the Chinese coming over here as policemen. They don't care nothing about us because they're not us. So when they go and beat you upside the head, then you're gonna say, well, okay, and we might well bring the UN. Anyway, that's just something. I'm just wondering, what has the Live Free people done in Montgomery, Alabama, that fulfills their mission statement? Okay, $3 million, about $1.7 million from the county and the rest from the city. So, and again, if there's been something done, then I like the mayor to come on here and tell us. So somebody tell me what's been done. Okay, I mean, we give the money. That's a lot of money to give to somebody, not to see much for it. I mean, our crooks around here are so tough that they go on YouTube with reporters and tell us how bad they are, and they don't really um, think anything's going to happen because nothing does. So I'm just asking the question. So anybody knows anything about Live Free? $3 million from the county and the city of Montgomery. Anybody know anything they've done? Anything? Okay. Except now they got some good literature. They do have some good literature. They got some good. They sound like they are the creme de la creme of organization. I mean, I'm looking at this equitable treatment. Ooh, I like that word, equitable. I mean, that's a hell of a word. That's that's a hell of, that's a hell of a world. Okay, we like that. Okay, community engagement. We like that. Building trust and collaboration with residents through neighborhood initiative. So, can somebody tell me one initiative that Live Free has done has put together in Montgomery? I'm not saying they haven't, but is anybody can tell me why? Again, I don't know why. If all the nonprofits of Montgomery had went down there and said we need $3 million to make a difference, local people, local people, you think they would have got it? The city council would be what? 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 So we rather give it to somebody because they're from someplace else. Okay, someplace else. Let me call one of my city council people up here. Let me see now. Where's he at? I want to know, has anybody seen anything done? And it's what I said when they first gave that money out. Okay, okay, all right then. So I'm just saying. Uh, Let me see. Get rid of that right there. Okay, Cheryl, I appreciate you letting me know that. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I'm going to we're going to take care of that one. Okay, so there we go. But so I'm just wondering if anybody knows anything about Live Free and what they've actually done. That's all I'm wondering. Just okay. Maybe one of our city councilmen can come on and tell us, um, what they have. Has anything happened because of them? Okay, and we whine about Whitewater, giving them $500,000. Mm, okay. See, and one of the things about who giving money to people who don't live here, um, there's really no accountability to the city of Montgomery because we don't know really when the money leaves here going down the freeway up 85, over to 65 or wherever they're going to Nashville. We don't. Once we write that check, pretty much it's a done deal. So that's all I'm asking. So while y'all whining about giving money to Whitewater, you didn't whine too much about giving $3 million to an organization that up until this day, right now, I don't know what they have done. What initiative have they put together? I mean, listen, I will say one thing about them though. They actually put forth a good presentation. They do. They put forth a great presentation about what the things they want to do. Kind of like Black Lives Matter. Yeah, they put forth a great presentation. They did. They did do that until we found out that they were taking the money and enriching themselves. Good morning, Mary. All the way down in California. You can come back to Alabama anytime you want to, because California's crazy. Okay, I mean California's great. You got a governor that's nuts. Don't have he walks around like what a roach got sprayed raid on him, like he don't know what the hell he doing. So yeah, you come on back to Alabama. One thing I say about Governor Ivy, she may not be the best governor in the history of America, but she haven't really messed much up. So that's good. Okay. And the state of Alabama. Now, let me get back to my main thing before I get off the air. Not off there, off the thing this morning. Earlier, but if anybody knows anything, that if there's any event put on by Live Free, please let me know. You can let me know, and I'd show up to it. Yeah, I'd go to it. But let me get back to what we were talking about earlier today before Singleton came on, and that is why is it that most cities in America that are that are losing their kids' education and lives are ran by Democrats? Why is that? Let me think why that would be. Now, it is not the Democratic Party. The party is a non-entity that's gotten together with people, but it's supposed to bring people together of like ideology or ideology. There is something wrong with the ideology of the Democratic Party. There's something wrong with it. And here is the problem. Here's one of the problems that the Democratic Party has a problem with. They treat people as a group rather than an individual. And anytime you take the group, you're going to lose somebody in between there. You're going to lose people if you look at people as part of a group and rather than an individual. And I think that's the distinct difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. That is the distinct difference, because you treat all of us, just because we belong to a certain segment of our population or our society, you treat us all the same. Okay, and that's what the Democrats do. That's why when the former president Biden told a black guy, what's that guy's name, Charlemagne the God, whatever his name is, that if you don't vote for me, you're not black. And he really meant it. Because all black people belong to the same group, and therefore they should all vote the same. Okay, that's the way that party, that's the likeness of mind that most of those people who run those parties do. But again, the parties are not for the regular people. They're for the people who join them. Okay, those parties are not for you and I. They're just not for us. But again, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Now, what an insult to people. But I'm gonna give him a break because he may not know what he was talking about at that particular time. Okay, so why is it that most schools that are failing, most schools, most crime are cities ran by Democrats? It is what it is. It is what it is. We need to change the mentality of some of our folks. Okay. But anyway, anybody disagree with that? You feel free to give me a call. I can live with that. What's my number again? It's something on there. But anyway, feel free to give a brother a call, because I can live with that. Okay. Let me see what else is going on here. Okay. So crime and politics. So part of the reason why we have such crime is because we put too many people together of like minds, and most of them are Democrats. They're all now Republicans still too. But I got to tell you something. I'd rather you steal in the suites than steal in the streets, because when you steal in the streets, you steal from me. The suites, my money in the bank, it's insured. So if somebody steal my money out of the bank, I'll just get some more from those guys. But I'd rather have the sweet thief than the street thief. Okay, that's what I'd rather have. Let them steal my money out of the bank. I don't care. Okay, because they did that a couple of times already, but I got the money back. So no problem. But if they had came in the house and got the money, well, I wouldn't have got the money back. I would have just been up the creek. Okay. So anyway, the numbers here are 521-2963. If anybody disagrees with me, feel free to give me a call. I mean, I'm a nice guy. I don't. I will. I'll listen to you. So anyway, moving right along. Again, for the 20 cities with the highest crime rates, there is no discernible difference in the average of murder, rape, or aggravated assault rates based on mayoral party affiliation. However, the studies have shown that these cities that are ran predominantly by Democrats with the high crime rates, they're exactly that. Okay? I mean, numbers and rankings, of course, can fluctuate. Okay? And some cities may experience a sudden increase or decrease in crime, depending on the economy, depending on, all kinds of things. Let's just say tornado came through. Well, then you're gonna have a break in crime because everybody's trying to survive. Okay. Now, getting back to my last thing, MPD changes procedures after difficult crime weekend in Montgomery. Montgomery, Alabama experienced a violent weekend this past weekend with multiple shootings, including one resulting in the death of a 13-year-old child. Police Chief James Graybold announced stricter measures to address the rise in crime. Okay, that sounds like one of those live free things. Changes include increased police presence. So why didn't we have increased police presence to begin with? Targeted traffic enforcement and expanded use of technology like facial recognition and drones. Well, why haven't we been using that? First of all, though, you need people, and I'm not going to blame the police department for not having enough people. But are we really saying that nobody wants to be a police department anymore? Have we done our due diligence to go over to our high school? Well, no sense going to a high school because they can't carry guns at age 20. But we got a military base here. We got a bunch of guys who ETS or PCS, well not PCS, but to retire or just get out. And you make the base pay, something wrong when the base pay is $50,000 a year and we can't get anybody to fill the job. Now, me personally, I thought about going down there, but I'm probably too old to be a police person anyway, although I'd be nice. But think about this for a second. $50,000 to start. And you can't. So why is that? Why is that? 50 grand a year and we can't seem to get people to fill the job? Why is that? There's got to be a reason. I mean, being a policeman is one of the most noble professions besides being a soldier in our society. Okay? So I don't know. Described as a difficult weekend. I got you. Montgomery Police Department has announced new, stricter operational methods in order to crack down on crime. And every time we have a bunch of crime, then we hear this, and then we go back to what we were doing. Over the weekend, which is June the 20th, several events that threatened public safety occurred. A 13-year-old girl, of course, was shot and killed. A woman was injured in a shooting on Friday on Birmingham Highway, and a shooting incident happened downtown Saturday night that resulted in no injuries, but did strike two buildings and damage a vehicle. Now, I saw Mr. Jamel Brown downtown telling us all about that. MPD planned to hold a briefing this week on the progress the department has made this year. But Graybold said that the event this past weekend made it clear that more is needed to be done despite progress. It weighs on me, he said. And we understand it. But what I can't understand, I mean, we need to find out why people don't want to be policemen. There's got to be a reasonable, rational explanation why people don't want a job that pays $50,000 a year to start. Okay. Is it leadership? I do not know. But why wouldn't people want a job like that? I mean, hell, I want a job like that. Maybe I'll go down there and I don't know if I can make it through 16 weeks of police school. I don't know if I want to go through that again. So We don't want to. We don't want to do that. Although I probably would come out in better shape. I probably would. Probably. So what is? Let me see. What is the salary of a policeman in Montgomery, Alabama? Somebody told me last night that it is $50,000. I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was 38,000. No, no, no. It starts at $55,168 and goes to 78,000 656. And honestly, and you get 49. And guess what? To even go through the academy training, you start off at $45,000. As a sworn officer, the Montgomery Police Department offers overtime, and so you can actually make up. You can actually make what? You can actually make $150,000. Okay. I don't know. I may have to think about looking into that job. I may have to do that. Woo, man, that's some pretty good money. Okay, it runs about $29 an hour. Okay, with top earners making around $76,000 per year. But with overtime, you can make a lot more money. Okay, so and right now these policemen are probably getting a whole lot of overtime because they don't have enough people. But the question is, why is it that people don't want to be policemen? Now, I did talk to my son about he's in the reserves right now. He said he'd come back, he'd think about it. Okay, well, I mean, I can't make him do it, but I talked to him. It's an honorable job. It's a good job. I don't know why he wouldn't want to do it. I don't know, but we'll see. We shall see. I try to get him to go to the sheriff department or something like that. But anyway, that's one. So we need to figure out what our problems are. We actually need to figure out what why it is that we cannot get people. We cannot get people to want to be policemen. There's got to be a reason. We got people. Huntsville, Alabama, highest paying cities for police officers near Montgomery. Huntsville is 74,000. Tuscaloosa is 66,000. Alabaster, Alabama is 64,000. Mobile is 59,000, and Decatur, Alabama is $58,000. So either way it goes, it's not that. It's to start. It's just not that. It sounds like me a good job. I mean, I don't know about the job, but the money that you get to do the job, that's pretty good. That's pretty good paycheck for somebody. And Montgomery is, I think we're the lowest on the thing. Now, what I'm looking at right now is I got it from Indeed.com, and of course they got $44,474 a year, but I think they make more than that. So they may get some of that wrong. But anyway, entry level police officer, 63,000. Well, anyway, I don't know why we cannot get people. Anybody got any idea? Anybody got any idea why we can't get people? It used to, I mean, when kids were coming up, back when I was coming up, everybody wanted to be a policeman or be a fireman. Okay. Now we have a hard time getting people to do either or. And I just wonder, why is that? Why is that? Anybody know why? Somebody's got to know why. I think I know why. Because ever since politics reached its ugly head into policing, it has changed. I know the mayor of the city of Montgomery put a guy on suspension because he cussed out a perp. He cussed out a crook, and the mayor put him on suspension. Now, somebody had to tell me why he did that. I mean, they cuss out the police like it ain't no big deal. Okay. So if a police officer had to cuss you out to get you to comply with his orders, yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that at all. Okay, I don't have that problem with that at all. But I think that's one of the reasons why. And I will admit to you that people have complained. Some policemen have complained to me about the mayor. Again, I don't. I'm not in that organization. I do not know. I thought the Gray Boys. I thought the police chief runs the police department, but they are answerable to the mayor. So I don't know. So y'all got any kids out there that want to be police officers? Because it doesn't make sense why we can't get police officers when we start off at $50,000. Now you do have to go through some training, you know, and maybe this is something that we ought to just say. You know what? People have been smoking marijuana for years. Seriously, we've been smoking marijuana for years. I think that ought not be a disqualifier. But I don't think you should smoke on the job. Okay, I don't think you should smoke like you shouldn't drink. You should treat marijuana the same way you treat liquor. Okay, don't be doing it on the job. Don't be doing it while you're driving. If you're gonna smoke it, if you're going to smoke a doobie on your way to bed. Okay, that gives you 8 hours to get it out your system. But plus, it'll help you sleep. From what I understand, it'll help you sleep. That's what I understand. So anyway, should we just stop denying people because they got some THC in their blood? I think we ought to. Everybody smokes marijuana. Okay. I mean, okay, not everybody. I've never had it because I don't really want to get high. Well, I don't think I want to get high. I haven't been high. And probably if I get high, it's probably going to mess my mind up and I want to stay high for a long time. So I don't know. I don't know if we need to do that. Okay. I'm just thinking maybe we ought not be so difficult on people because they get high. Okay. Okay. So why don't we just forget that for a little while and just get some people, get these places. Now, here's the one thing that I'm still trying to figure out what happens to the money. The Montgomery Police Department every year gets allocated a budget. And that budget is based on a full complement of police officers. So every time I hear that we don't have the resources, then why don't we? Where's the money? If you don't have the resources, if you get a budget for everybody for a complement of police officers, a full complement, then where does the money go? So where does the rest of the money go in the budget? Now I'll have to look at that budget again and see where that is. But if that is true, then then they ought to have, right, since they so short, they ought to have plenty of money. So here's what I came up with. Okay, here's what I came up with to help the police. You see, I'm not one just to complain about the lack of. I got a solution for it, and here is the solution. Mr. Mayor, somebody called him up, tell him he need to listen to this. Here is how we solve our temporary shortage of police officers. In the military, we have something what's known as a warrant officer. A warrant officer is an officer, is of the officer rank, but not really. They are between enlisted and officer. There's a warrant officer. And warrant officers are people who are highly, highly skilled in their chosen profession. So what we need to do is bring in a bunch of retired military or retired police officers and give them the rank, not lieutenant, because warrant officers don't outrank lieutenants, but they do outrank sergeants. Okay. And so what you would do is you would bring them on in a limited role to fill certain slots in the Montgomery Police Department. You make them a warrant officer so they get the respect of both sides. Okay. Because not only will they get respect because of their long service to the city of Montgomery as police officers, but they get the respect on their collar also. Okay. So I'm thinking that's what we need to do. We need to bring back for those, and it has nothing to do with their retirement. They don't lose any money. They don't lose anything. They still get paid for coming to work every day or the days they come to work. I think that's a pretty good plan. But you give them the rank of warrant officer. I don't know what we would call them in the police department. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, that's a hell of an idea, as a matter of fact. So why don't we do that? Because I would imagine there are some people right now who are now no longer in the police department who like to work a little bit here and there. You know, they don't want to work no overtime and all that stuff. A lot of them like to work a little bit, and so make them a warrant officer. They wear a little silver bar, which means they're not an officer, but they're not a sergeant either. So they're there for the most part. They are there to lend a hand. Okay, to lend a hand on patrol, to lend a hand on apprehensions, to lend a hand on all these other kind of things. They already been post certified. They already know the job. Until we can get somebody to fill these slots that can't seem to be filled by anybody. So make them warrant officers. What a great! I mean, that's that, and therefore they don't feel as though they got to listen to people who are less time and grade than they have, less time and experience they have, and the people would understand. The young officers would understand that they're here to help you. Not to run you around, but they're here to help you because they got experience and knowledge. And I'm just thinking that's a good idea. I had to talk to John Bowman about that. Maybe we can get John over there part time. Okay, the members of Hope Inspired Ministries. Another thing too, if you are a person who knows a person that needs a job, that's having a tough time, that's for some reason just can't seem to get it together. I belong to an organization called Hope Inspired Ministries. I'm on the board anyway. Hope Inspired Ministries, and what they do is, let me make sure I'm gonna get you the number here because it is a fantastic organization. Okay, HOPE, Hope Inspired. There we go, right there. And what we do is we take you through an 8-week course. Okay, where you show up every day, and you learn the goal, because I did not realize that there are actually people out here who never had a job. Older people who never had a real job. They hustle. They've never had a job, so they've never had to show up on somebody's job because they used to getting up at 12 o'clock and going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever they do. So Hope Inspired Ministries impacts a bunch of lives. Okay, they go out there and they give you a program valued at $2,500. Okay, they recruit, they train, and they would do the best they can to help you get a job. Okay, we've had people over there who battling addictions, who got put out of their homes, just all kinds of things. And the learning environment is a digital one for the most part. We use Chromebooks for digital learning and skill building. So you learn a little bit about computers and things of that nature. So let me give you the numbers. So if you know somebody who right now just in between where they want to be and where they were, you might want to think about calling. And we got Birmingham, Lowndes County, Montgomery campus, Department of Youth Services. We got DYS. We got people out there. The Foundry in Bessemer, Coleman, Alabama. That sundown town up there. And we got the Montgomery County Detention Facility for Men and Women. We work with them. Bibb County Correctional Facility and the Calhoun High School. We got people out there. So here's what I need you to do if you guys want the help. If you know somebody, if it's not you, if you know somebody, you can give them this number right here. Where's the Montgomery? 649-4330. 649-4330. And the office for Hope Inspired Ministries is located on Coliseum Boulevard. Okay, Coliseum Boulevard. Let me see if I can show you this on the thing here because my mind ain't what it used to be sometimes. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, right here. But anyway, it is an interesting organization, and they have done wonderful things for people. So, and it's called Hope Inspired Ministries, and I'm going to show you their little place here in a second here. Okay, let me see how you do this. You go to preset, share screen. Okay, we're going to stop that right there. Screen. Okay. Okay. Where's my thing at here? It's on here someplace. Okay. Well, it's there someplace. I got it. Okay. Oh, there we go, right there. Okay. Now, as you see, it's Hope Inspired Ministries. Uh, this is the one I work at. Well, I'm on the board, so we are involved with all of them for the most part. But you can call that number right there, 649-4330. And if you know some people who are just having a rough time getting a job, because life sometimes, um, it happens. It happens. Not much we can do about it sometimes, but we have to deal the cards we are dealt. And Hope Inspired Ministries is one of those organizations. I'll get John Bowman on here soon to tell you a little bit more about it. But it's that number again is 649-4330. Doesn't cost you anything. We give you at least one meal a day. Because there are a lot of people right here who don't even get one meal. They got to scuffle and bustle about it. And if you don't know anybody in Montgomery, we got Lowndes County, we got the Birmingham, we got the DYS, we got the Foundry, which is over in Bessemer, and we got the Foundry Farm, which is in Coleman. I went by Coleman one time real fast. I didn't want to stay there too long. But the Calhoun High School, Lido Hatchie, wherever that is. So a lot of places, but if you go on your internet there, you'll see something says Hope Inspired Ministries. Just go to Google and type it in there. And if you know anybody, and they always, and and we're looking for people often sometimes that can speak to the kids, and not kid, we got grown. I mean, the age limit, we've had people from 65 on down, and maybe a couple of years older than that, who just life is hard sometimes. And we need you to come over there and speak to some of the kids sometimes. So if you call not kids, but speak to the people, because sometimes when you get way down, you think you're the only person in the whole wide world that's going through that, but you're not. You think that you'll never ever get out of where you are. And I understand that. Been there, done that. So if you guys would, and we take donations, you can donate if you want to. We appreciate that. We need all kinds of things, but Hope Inspired Ministries is an outstanding organization. I mean, it's one of the organizations I know, 501c3s, that actually makes a difference. They go out in the street, they find people, and they bring you in. If you don't have a car, we'll make sure you get a bus pass so you can ride the public transportation. We give you at least one meal a day, because they don't have a dining facility, anything like that. And we're always looking for somebody to feed for one. You give us a day of the month that you can donate a meal. You can either bring the meal or bring the money for the meal. Either way it goes, because some of these people, that's the only meal they have. The only meal they got is what Hope Inspired Ministries gives them. And again, I tell people, you never know where you find yourself. You never know where you might find yourself in this life. You just don't know. And so, whatever you do, if you can give us a call and tell them you heard me talk about them on the podcast, I will appreciate it. 649-4330, 649-4330 is the number. And we surely will appreciate it if you guys give us a call. If you live in Lowndes County, 548 HOPE, Birmingham 202-6305, area code 205. Anyway, but you can go to Hope Inspired Ministries and you can find it, because that's the organization I've been on. And we have a function every year called Hope Heals, and that's where we raise money and things of that nature. But these people make a difference. All I do is sit on the board and go to meetings, believe it or not. But I don't get down there and do the work. I help when I can, but the people there at Hope Inspired Ministries on Coliseum Boulevard. You need to go by there and thank them, say hi to them anyway, for doing such an outstanding job of helping people help themselves. Okay, it's not a place where you get pity. No, you get training, and you get ways to get your life back on track. Okay, so Hope Inspired Ministries, 649-4330. 649-4330. Please go see them, give them a hand. If nothing else, if you don't have money for a meal, they like you to come talk to them. You can call that number and talk to somebody there, and you can come give them a speech, or just tell them what it was like for you. Tell them that you was in the same place that some of them are. Okay, it ain't where you are, it's where you're going. Okay. So, Hope Inspired Ministries, again, that number is 649-4330. 649-4330. Okay. So, gotta go. Time is up. Appreciate you guys, tuning in. But Hope Inspired Ministries, give them a call. 649-4330. Have a great day. It's a great day to be alive. It's better to be on top of the ground than under it, right? I'm with you. See ya.